Tell me a little bit about looking for trouble and what does that mean? It sounds like something we shouldn't do, but I'm guessing you have your own unique spin on it.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking if you've got any salespeople, sales professionals who are parents out there, they must be scratching their head already because it's certainly not something we would advise our kids to do. But what it really stems from, Mike, is it goes back a long, I mean, the 30 plus years in sales, and going back in time, where they gave us some terrible advice back in the day. I remember, they would actually tell us quite the opposite, in fact, which is, hey, if you have a nice discussion going with a prospect, just get out of Dodge at the end, lock down some next steps, but don't introduce any negativity. And it was such terrible advice. It was frankly, it was terrible advice then. It's even worse advice now. But it's certainly counterintuitive, this idea that we should be asking questions that seek to uncover objections and challenges and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a interesting topic. One of my faves.
What is one attitude you'd like people to have?
To not be afraid of it. And that it over time, and maybe not in the moment, but over time, this mindset of, hey, I need to seek out, are there, obstacles, impediments that are going to get in the way of this thing? You need to have that mindset, and that it is in your best interest, actually in the prospect's best interest as well, but it's certainly in your best interest as the sales professional to know it and to know it as soon as possible.
And one key behavior or thing you would like people to do?
Check in with prospects every time you talk to them, especially for folks on a longer deal cycle. Hey, has anything changed? What's been the chatter? What have you heard? What are people saying about us being you and your organization, your solution?
And the best technique, tool, or hack to use?
Ask it and lean into the question. Sometimes I hear people that I coach come back to me and say, yeah, Steve, I think I went looking for trouble. And then you hear it and they ask the question, but they didn't really mean it. And that's what I mean by leaning in. And I always say that you get away with stuff verbally that you can't in an email or in writing. And that's why you'll hear me sometimes when I ask these questions, I almost ask it, I guess, what grammatically would be considered to be a run-on question, right? When you say, Mike, what do you think, man? Biggest obstacle, challenge, what haven't we thought of so far that could get in the way of these great discussions we've been having? I do that on purpose. I call that leaning into the question, so that the prospect can't sometimes sort of pretend they didn't hear the question and talk right past it. There's no talking past that. I slowed my cadence, I slowed my roll, I put a couple of different words in there, visual type words in there. So you've got to lean in. You've got to get command of how you ask those questions.
Thank you for watching this highlight video from the How to Succeed podcast. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify, or click subscribe right here on YouTube to get notices about future episodes. And remember, whatever you are, be a good one.